Good morning everyone. My name is Priyanka Sharma. I am the coordinator of St. Stephen's International School. The school is affiliated to ICSE board. My subject is economics and today we will be discussing about demand and the subtopics are what is demand, determinants of demand and types of demand. Thank you. The topic for today is elementary theory of demand and the subtopics which we will be studying today is what is demand, types of demand and its determinants. Now let us discuss what is demand. Demand is the quantity of the good or service that a consumer are willing to purchase at a given price in a given period of time. That means that the consumer should have the willingness to purchase. They wish to purchase a particular commodity. They should have the ability to purchase a particular commodity which is backed by purchasing power in a given period of time. Now this can be explained with the help of a demand schedule. Now, first let us discuss what is independent variable and what is dependent variable. Independent variable is price and dependent variable is quantity demanded. Why? Because when you go to a shop, in order to purchase a particular commodity, what do we say? We say what is the price of this particular commodity. Say if you are going to purchase a pen, so how much quantity you need to purchase, that can be decided by knowing the price of the particular commodity. Say if the price of pen is 5 rupees. So you are purchasing 10 units of a particular commodity. But when the price of pen is increased to 7 rupees, then because you have a limited income, you will decrease the quantity demanded. So in that case, you will be purchasing 8 units of a particular commodity. Whereas when the price is further increased to 10, then you will be purchasing 5 units of a particular commodity. So this shows that with the price is the independent variable and quantity demanded is dependent variable. Why? Because how much quantity you need to purchase is depending on the price of the commodity. Clear? Here also say the demand for quantity is 10 when the price is 5. When the price is increased to 7, you are purchasing 8 units. When the price is further increased to 10, you are purchasing 5 units. Types of demand. Now there are different forms of demand. Joint demand, composite demand, direct demand, derived demand and competitive demand. Joint demand. When one or more goods are demanded together is known as joint demand. Say for example, pen and ink. In the absence of ink, you cannot use a pen. So both are required together. That is, we can say it is a complementary good. In the absence of one, we cannot go for the other. Like car and petrol. In the absence of petrol, we cannot run the car. Composite demand. The demand for the goods which can be put to several uses are known as composite demand. For example, milk. Milk can be used to make cheese, to make butter, to make curd, to make sweets, to make tea. So what is the composite demand? Composite demand are those demand which can be put to several uses. Directly demanded by the consumer for the satisfaction of his or her wants. For example, food, clothing, etc. Food. Because it directly satisfies our wants. We purchase a particular commodity in exchange of money. We are going to a Pizza Hut and we are purchasing a pizza for ourselves and we are consuming it. So that is a direct satisfaction of the want. Secondly, clothing. You go to a branded showroom, you are purchasing one shirt for yourself and you are wearing it. So that does not require further selling. You are purchasing a particular commodity for yourself. So that is directly satisfying your wants. Derived demand. It is a thing which is needed in order to produce some other goods. Say for example, house. We require house in order to live, right? We require shelter for ourselves. So in order to make the house, we require bricks, cement, iron, steel. So these are all the goods which are required in order to make a house. but these are derived demands. The demand for these goods will increase if the demand for house will increase. Okay, if more and more people will be purchasing the house, so we will require more of bricks, more of cement, more of steel, more of iron. So these are known as derived demand. Competitive demand, that means the two commodities are competing with each other. Competitive demand, example tea and coffee. If the demand for one commodity increases, it leads to the decrease in the demand for the other commodity. Why? Because both are acting as a supplementary goods. That is, in the absence of one, you can go for the other. Say for example, tea and coffee. If the demand for tea increases, it reduces the demand for coffee. Why? Because both gives you equal level of satisfaction. In the absence of one, you can go for the other. First one is your joint demand. So the example of joint demand will be pen and ink, car and petrol. Now second one is composite demand. The example will be milk can be put to various uses. That with the help of milk we can make curd, we can make cheese, we can make tea, we can make milkshakes, etc. Direct demand, which directly satisfy the human wants, which will be food, clothing, etc. Derived demand, which is made in order to make some other goods. Example, house, which can be made with the help of bricks, cement, iron, wood. Competitive demand, that is acting as a substitute of each other. Example will be tea and coffee. Demand schedule is a tabular representation of price of the commodity and its quantity demanded at a given period of time. That is, say if the price of the commodity is 2, quantity demanded is how much? 30. When the price of the commodity is 4, quantity demanded is 20. When the price of commodity is 6, quantity demanded is 10. So it shows the demand for the commodity by the consumer in relevance with the price in a table form. So that's why we say it's a demand schedule. The graphical representation of the price of the commodity and its quantity demanded by the consumer at a given period of time. Now this is a graph. Okay? Now when the price of the commodity is, this is price and this is quantity demanded. When the price of the commodity is 4, 20 units of the commodity is demanded. When the price of the commodity is increased to 6, the quantity demanded is reduced to 10. Why? Because we have a limited income, and within that limited income we need to make the purchases. So this shows that due to increase in the price of the commodity, and since we have a limited resource, the price of the commodity is the quantity of the commodity has been reduced from 20 to 10. Now another thing is, when the price of the commodity falls, from 4 to 2 units, okay, so the quantity demanded has been increased from 20 to 30. This shows that when price of the commodity increases, quantity demanded falls, and when price of the commodity falls, quantity demanded rises. This is inverse or opposite relationship between the price of the commodity and its quantity demanded. When the price has been increased from 4 to 6, the quantity has been reduced from 20 to 10. When the price has been reduced from 4 to 2, the quantity has been increased from 20 to 30. So what is demand curve? Demand curve is a graphical representation of the price of the commodity and the quantity demanded by the consumer at a given period of time. Now, determinants of demand. What do you mean by determinants? Determinant means the factors influencing the demand, right? So there is a demand function over here. That is, Qx is equal to function of Px, then PO, then income, taste and preference, and so on. Clear? So, as we said, that price is the independent variable, whereas quantity is the dependent variable. So, what is the demand function? Demand function is the quantity demanded of X commodity is equal to the function of price of the X commodity, price of related commodity, income of the consumer, taste and preference of the consumer, and so on. So, this is basically the individual demand for the commodity. Clear? So, first one is price of the commodity. Now, let me tell you one thing. Now, if first one is your price of the commodity. Price of the commodity has the inverse relationship. Like what? When the price of the commodity increases, quantity demanded falls, and when price of the commodity falls, quantity demanded rises. The same is applicable in the law of demand. You know what is law of demand? Law of demand states that when other things remaining constant, there is an inverse or opposite relationship between the price of the commodity and its quantity demanded. Like when we talk about the determinants, if price of the commodity is fluctuating, that means if the price is changing or increasing or decreasing, then the other factors will remain constant. That means it will not change. Okay, when price of the commodity fluctuates, other factors remain constant. So this shows the relationship between the price of the commodity and its quantity demanded. When price increases, quantity falls. When price falls, quantity rises. So this can be illustrated with the help of this demand curve. When price is, earlier also I explained, when price is 4, then quantity demanded is 10. When the price is increased to 6, quantity demanded is 5. When price is further decreased to 2, quantity demanded is 15. So this shows that due to increase in price, quantity is falling. Due to fall in price, quantity demanded is rising. So in this case, we are having only one demand curve, which is this one. Okay? Now, this is done. Now when price of the commodity fluctuates, other things remains constant. When any of these factors will fluctuate, then the price will remain constant. Say, when we talk about the second determinant, which is the price of the commodity, this is known as price of the related commodity. Price of the related commodity can be divided into two. One is your substitute goods, the other is your complementary goods. Price of the related goods, this is known as PO. Price of the related goods. Price of the related goods can be divided into two. One is substitute goods, the other is complementary goods. Substitute goods are those goods which gives you equal level of satisfaction. Okay? Which gives you equal level of satisfaction. Say for example, tea and coffee. If you are feeling sleepy, right, during the examination, if you are feeling sleepy, like so if you consume tea or coffee, both act as a stimulating agent. So you can have either of one, right? So both are giving you equal level of satisfaction. Clear? The second one is complementary goods. Complementary goods are those goods which are taken together. In the absence of one, you cannot go for the other. For example, car and petrol, tea and sugar, right? So the complementary goods are those goods which are taken together. In the absence of one, you cannot go for the other. In the absence of petrol, you cannot run the car. In the absence of sugar, you cannot drink the tea. Or anyways, if you are if you are not consuming sugar, then in the absence of honey also you cannot consume the tea, right? In the absence of sugar free also you cannot consume the tea. So basically complementary goods are those goods, in the absence of one good you cannot go for the other. Now when we talk about substitute goods, okay, so as I earlier said that when any of these factors will fluctuate, as I said earlier, when price of the particular commodity will fluctuate, then other things will remain constant. But if any of these factors will fluctuate, then price will remain constant. So now we are discussing about the price of related goods. So in this case, if price of the related goods is fluctuating, then the price of commodity in question will remain constant. That means it will not change. Now we are talking about substitute goods. Substitute goods like PX, let's say T, and quantity demanded of T. Clear? In both the axis, y-axis and x-axis, I have put the commodity which is T. Clear? Now we are discussing about what? Tea and coffee. So coffee is here your substitute goods. Clear? So see, when the price of substitute good increases, quantity demanded of commodity in question increases. When price of substitute good falls, quantity demanded of commodity in question also falls. This shows that there is a direct relationship between the price of the substitute goods and the quantity demanded of commodity in question. Which means that if the price of coffee will increase to 10, okay, so quantity demanded is say 20. If the price of coffee increases to 20, so the demand for tea will increase to 30. How? Because both are giving you equal level of satisfaction. The price of coffee has been increased. So in that case, people who are earlier consuming coffee will now shift to tea. So that's why due to increase in the price of coffee, the coffee price has been increased to 20. So people have shifted from coffee to tea. So the demand for coffee is reduced and demand for tea has been increased to 30. Likewise, now when the price of coffee is reduced to 5, when the price of coffee has been reduced to 5, so now what will happen? The demand for tea will be reduced to 10. Why? Because now the coffee is cheaper in compared to tea. So people who are earlier consuming tea will now shift to, few of the people will now shift to coffee. So the demand for tea will be reduced from 20 to 10. So this shows that there are three demand curves. When there is a rightward shift of demand curve and there is a leftward shift of demand curve. When price of the substitute good increases, that is when the price of coffee increases, the demand for tea also increases. When the price of coffee is increased to 20, the demand for tea is also increased to 30. So, and when the price of substitute goods falls, that is when the price of coffee is reduced to 5, the demand for tea is also reduced to 10. So here there is a leftward shift of demand curve.